Not a real microphone. That's not a real camera. This isn't a real show. You're making this all up.
Yeah, we are actually. So, actually, let you introduce this. Where are we? Do you know? Because I'm not even sure. We're in Broadbeach on the Gold Coast.
I have no idea. I've come in through the back door. I think somewhere near Surfers. I got a plane from Melbourne, came straight here, got in a little car and drove straight to the TAB part of the pub.
That's where we're in. We're in the TAB. Well, hopefully there's keys there later. We'll take out some cash. Mate, is that a regular thing for you? Just a crazy day where you end up somewhere where you're like, whoa?
Yes. Backstage is always pretty depressing, to be honest. But I've never had a TAB as backstage before, so this is a first.
Right, so we're on the Gold Coast and there's people here ready to see. Of course, this is Jamoan. And how long till you go on tonight?
Too long. This is the bit I hate, waiting to go on.
Really?
Yeah, I don't get nervous, but I just think, oh, come on. Sometimes, like, the MC can do too long, you know, sort of like. I've known an MC to do an hour before they brought me.
Are you serious?
I was ready to punch his down. Pan around and have a look at the backstage. Let's look at the quality of backstage.
Yeah, just have a look around. Just look around, Dale.
Right.
Yeah, this is...
That's it, yeah.
As the camera goes around, we've got the little info tab machine over there.
Well, you know, there's a few ghosts in this room.
Right.
There's three. It's been haunted by 3 tellers, cash machine tellers.
Look like the ghost from Pac-Man.
The ghost of Pac-Man.
Yeah.
And then there, actually just through the door there is the venue.
Right.
Which I have yet to see.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, I haven't even done a sound check because everyone was in the room, but there'll probably be a bun fight.
Right, and this is your little gear over here. So when you come in for a gig, what usually just walk in and set your own little area up? Tune the guitar?
Tune the guitar, yeah. Normally I have a couple of girls giving me a massage, but they didn't have it in the budget tonight, so we had to go with this. But yeah, you normally get an opportunity to do a sound check before the gig, before people are in the room, but they were already in. It's the first act.
Right. Now, you were speaking before about like an MC that does too long a gig. What's like the funniest story you've had, like seriously, where it's just been a nightmare with regards to maybe someone on the gig with you or something like that?
I know. I have. I know a story where an MC did an hour before he brought the headline act. Just got carried away by the crowd who were there to see the headline act. It wasn't me, but he ended up doing an hour, and then the guy got on and died because, you know, he'd done an hour and. Oh, it's very funny.
Is that like a thing though? There's only enough laughs in an audience like that?
Yes, and often that's the mistake that they make with a comedy venue. They have too many acts on. By the time the headline gets on, you know, they're laughed out. Yeah, there only are so many laughs in the night. Don't laugh before the show. It's like eating before the show. Try and be miserable before you, in some sort of frame of mind. Get a terrible parking spot. Have to walk a long way, and just be generally shitty by the time you turn up to the gig, and then ho, you're off.
And it works for everybody. Now, obviously, making people laugh must be the most amazing thing. What sort of thoughts do you have in your head sometimes when you're looking down and you're seeing an audience just absolutely cracking up? It must just be amazing.
It's a good gig. It's a great gig. I have sometimes met people who've been sick who've come out afterwards and said that made me feel good. So that's a great feeling. And but the other extreme's quite funny too, especially when it's another comedian. Because when they like you, they don't just like you, they love you. But when they don't like you, they don't just dislike you, they hate you. So there's no middle ground in comedy. It's either all or nothing. But when it's good, it's a good feeling. There's a tip in comedy, which is there's 2 rules. If it's going good, get off, and if it's going bad, get off. So the trick is get a good laugh and get off. Right, but I've got to do an hour tonight. So.
Okay. Now, looking back when you first started, I'm sure you told the story many times, but how did it all come around for you? Where regards to like even maybe beginning the dream? Because I would assume now that you're living in an incredible dream from where you were in Ireland, right?
Yeah, I started in a comedy venue, not unlike this one. So I just went along one night. There was comedy on, and at the start of the night they have a tryout section where, you know, anyone can get up and do 5 minutes. So. We were playing pool and we got into the room for free because I got up and told a couple of jokes. I just told like jokes, 2 guys walked into a pub sort of jokes. And that's how it took off. And I was very naive to it because I didn't really know what stand-up was. But that was the start of it, and that was in Sydney, and that was 15 years ago.
Were there any thoughts before that, even like back in Ireland, before you came out, with regard? I mean, obviously, if you're at a club and you're playing pool and you jump up, when did the actual thought first hit your head when you thought, you know what, I wouldn't mind having a crack at doing something like that?
When I watched the rest of the night, I did, and I got a couple of laughs because it was just like silly. I was totally unprepared, and it was just genuinely having a laugh. But when I watched the rest of the night, I always wanted to be in a band, and stand-up is like being in a band, but without having to hang around with other people in the band and sort of write silly songs. But it's the same sort of, it's that without all the music, if you know what I mean.